Part 1. The Rejected Princess. Marcus Chen wiped the grease from his hands as he watched the alien delegation through the observation window of Nexus Prime's main docking bay. The massive space station buzzed with activity as representatives from across the galaxy gathered for the monthly trade negotiations. As a human mechanic, Marcus was used to being overlooked by the more important species, but he didn't mind. It gave him a front-row seat to watch the political drama unfold. The Luminary delegation stood out even among the colorful crowd of aliens. Their tall, graceful forms pulsed with beautiful patterns of light that danced across their pale blue skin. Marcus had learned that these light patterns were everything to the Luminar. They showed emotions, social status, health, and even thoughts. The brighter and more complex the patterns, the more important the person at the center of the delegation stood what Marcus assumed was their leader. A luminary whose entire body blazed with golden light so intense it hurt to look at directly. The patterns shifted and swirled like living artwork, commanding respect from every species present. But it was the figure standing slightly behind and to the left that caught Marcus's attention. She was clearly luminary, the same tall, elegant build and pale blue skin, but something was wrong. Where the others glowed with vibrant light, her skin remained dim and gray. No patterns danced across her surface. She stood perfectly still, her head held high with royal bearing, but Marcus could see the tension in her shoulders. "That's Princess Zerathio," said a voice beside him. Marcus turned to see Jex, a four-armed Krillin trader he'd worked with before. Poor thing, used to be the brightest of them all, they say. Then some accident when she was young, her bioluminescence got damaged permanently. Marcus watched as the negotiations began in the main hall. Through the speakers he could hear the formal greetings and opening statements. The Luminari were offering exclusive mining rights to their crystal moon in exchange for advanced medical technology. It should have been a simple deal, but then things went wrong. We cannot accept Princess Zerathil as collateral for this agreement, announced the Vorthan ambassador, his metallic voice echoing through the hall. A luminary without light has no value in diplomatic marriages or trade partnerships. Marcus felt his stomach turn. They were talking about the princess like she was cargo. The golden luminary leader, clearly the king, flickered with angry red patterns. "My daughter is still royalty. Her bloodline means nothing without the light," interrupted the crystalline delegate, her voice like breaking glass. "We deal in certainties, not damaged goods." Marcus saw Princess Zerathio flinch at the words, though her face remained calm. Her hands, however, clenched into fists at her sides. The king's light patterns shifted to deep blue sadness, Marcus realized. Perhaps it would be better if Zerathil remained on the station while we complete these negotiations, father. The princess spoke for the first time, her voice soft but steady. "It's temporary, daughter. Just until we can find a more suitable arrangement." Marcus couldn't believe what he was hearing. They were abandoning her. Right here, in front of everyone, the princess straightened her shoulders. "I understand, father. I will wait for your return." But Marcus could see the lie in her rigid posture. She knew, just as everyone else did, that they weren't coming back for her. The delegations dispersed, heading to their private quarters to continue negotiations. The Luminari group moved past the observation window, their lights flickering with what Marcus was learning to read as embarrassment and relief. None of them looked back at the princess, who stood alone in the center of the now-empty docking bay. Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He walked down to the docking bay, his work boots echoing in the vast space. Princess Zerathil turned to the sound, and Marcus got his first close look at her face. She was beautiful in the way all Luminari were, with large silver eyes and features that seemed carved from moonstone. But those eyes were clouded not just with sadness, but with actual blindness.
"Your Highness?"
Marcus said, not sure of the proper protocol. She tilted her head slightly. "You're human. I can tell by your voice patterns and the way you walk." She paused. "What do you want? Have you come to stare at the broken princess too?" Marcus felt a flash of anger. Not at her, but at everyone who had made her feel this way. Actually, I came to offer you a place to stay. Princess Zarathel blinked in surprise. Excuse me? You need somewhere to go, right? I've got a small apartment in the residential section. It's not fancy, but it's clean and private. Marcus scratched the back of his neck nervously. Look, I know we just met, but nobody should be left alone like this. You don't understand, the princess said, her voice growing cold. I am Luminary royalty. I cannot simply move in with a double quotes with a human, Marcus finished. I get it. We're pretty low on the galactic food chain. But right now, I'm the only one offering. Princess Zarathiel stood silent for a long moment. Marcus could almost see her pride warring with her desperation. Around them, other aliens passed by, some pointing and whispering about the dim princess and the human talking to her. Finally she spoke. Why would you help me? What do you gain from harboring damaged goods? The term made Marcus wince. You're not damaged goods. You're a person who got dealt a bad hand. Stepped closer, lowering his voice. And humans have a thing about helping people who need it, even when everyone else has given up on them. Something shifted in her expression. Surprise, maybe. Even hope. Your species is strange. Yeah, we get that a lot. Marcus smiled, even though she couldn't see it. So what do you say? Want to crash at my place until you figure out your next move? Princess Zarathiel hesitated for another moment, then nodded slowly. Very well, Marcus Chin. I accept your offer, though I warn you. My presence will bring you nothing but trouble and shame. As they walked toward the residential section, Marcus noticed something that made him pause, and Princess Zarathiel had spoken his name. The faintest flicker of light had passed across her skin, so quick and dim that he almost missed it. But it had been there. He decided not to mention it. Not yet. Instead, he offered her his arm. Don't worry about the trouble. I'm pretty good at handling that. As her hand touched his sleeve, another tiny spark of light danced across her fingertips. Neither of them spoke about it. But both had felt something change in that moment of contact. Something that would soon change the galaxy forever. Part 2. The human touch. Marcus's apartment was small but comfortable. 2 rooms, a basic kitchen, and a view of the station's inner gardens through a porthole window. Princess Zarathiel stood in the doorway, her silver eyes moving as if trying to see something that wasn't there. It's not much, Marcus said, setting down her single bag. The couch pulls out into a bed, and the bathroom's through that door. She nodded stiffly. This will be adequate. I do not require luxury. Marcus watched her carefully navigate around his furniture, her hands trailing along surfaces to map the space. She moved with practiced grace, but he could see the frustration in her shoulders when she bumped into his work table. Sorry about the mess, he said, quickly moving some tools. I sometimes bring repair work home. You fix things, she said. Wasn't a question. Yeah, engines, life support systems, whatever. Breaks down. Which is pretty much everything on a space station this old. Marcus pulled clean sheets from a cabinet. What about you? I mean, before? What did you do on your homeworld? Princess Zarathiel's face grew distant. I was being trained to be a diplomat. Luminary princesses learn to read the light patterns of other species, to understand their emotions and intentions. She touched her dim cheek. That training became useless when I lost my sight and my light. Marcus spread the sheets on the couch bed. Maybe not as useless as you think. You knew I was human just from how I walked and talked. Basic survival skills for the blind, she said bitterly. Still pretty impressive to me. That night, Marcus lay in his bed listening to the princess toss and turn in the next room. Around midnight, he heard a soft sound that made his heart ache. Quiet crying, muffled by a pillow. The next morning, Marcus found her sitting by the porthole, her face turned toward the artificial sunlight streaming through the gardens. Ken, you see any of it? He asked gently. Shapes. Shadows. Sometimes colors if the light is very bright. She sighed. I remember what gardens looked like. Green was always my favorite color. Marcus got an idea. Would you like me to describe what I see? She turned toward him, surprised. You would do that? Sure. Marcus settled into the chair beside. The gardens have these tall trees with silver bark and leaves that change color depending on the station's day cycle. Right now they're deep green with gold edges. There's a fountain in the center that shoots water up in spirals, and the droplets catch the light like tiny diamonds. Princess Zarathiel's face softened as she listened.
Hi.
For the first time since he'd met her, she looked peaceful. This became their morning routine. Marcus would describe the view while they shared breakfast, painting pictures with words of the bustling station life beyond their window. He told her about the merchant ships docking, the different alien species hurrying, about their business, the way the artificial sunset painted the metal walls in shades of orange and pink. "Humans are strange," she said one morning, as Marcus described a group of children playing in the gardens. "Most species focus only on what serves them, but you spend time on things that have no practical purpose." "Like what?" "Beauty, stories, making others feel better." She tilted her head. Why? Marcus thought about it. Maybe because we know what it's like to be overlooked. Humans aren't the strongest or smartest species in the galaxy. We don't have natural weapons or advanced technology. So we learn to value other things, such as kindness, hope, the ability to see potential where others see problems. That afternoon, Marcus came home with something special. "I made this for you," he said, placing an object in her hands. Princess Zarathiel's fingers explored the gift carefully. It was a sculpture made from scrap metal and wire, shaped like a flower, but with smooth surfaces and interesting textures. "I can't create the light patterns your people make," Marcus explained. "But I thought you might enjoy something you could feel instead of see." Her fingers traced every curve and angle. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "No one has ever made me art before. There's more." Marcus guided her hand to a small switch at the base. When she pressed it, the sculpture began to hum with a low, pleasant vibration that she could feel through her fingertips. "Music?" she asked, wonder in her voice, sort of. "It's tuned to frequencies that most species can feel as well as hear. I thought you might like experiencing music through touch." Princess Zarathiel held the sculpture close to her chest, feeling the vibrations through her body. "This is ... I had no idea music could be felt this way." Marcus watched her face light up with joy, and something incredible happened. For just a moment, the faintest glow flickered across her skin, not the complex patterns of healthy luminari, but a soft, warm light that seemed to pulse in rhythm with the sculpture's vibrations. She felt it too. Her free hand flew to her cheek, pressing against the spot where the light had appeared. "What was that?" she breathed. "Nothing," Marcus said. "Carefully, your light isn't as gone as everyone believes." From that day on, Marcus paid closer attention. The light appeared in small flashes when Princess Zarathiel experienced strong emotions. Joy when he described something beautiful, comfort when he guided her through the apartment, even anger when she talked about her family's abandonment. But the light was strongest when Marcus touched her. When he took her hand to guide her to the kitchen, soft sparkles danced across both their fingers. When he adjusted the blanket around her shoulders while she listened to music, waves of gentle light rippled across her arms. "I don't understand it," she said one evening as they sat together listening to human jazz music through the vibrating sculpture. "For years, nothing. Then you appear, and suddenly, ... Maybe different species affect each other in ways we don't understand yet," Marcus suggested. "Humans have always been weird that way." The station medical officer would be fascinated, she said thoughtfully. "No." Marcus's voice was firm. "We keep this between us for now." "Why?" Marcus looked troubled. "Because the moment other people find out about this, you stop being a person and become a curiosity again. Trust me, we need to understand what's happening before we tell anyone else." Princess Zarathiel nodded slowly. "You're protecting me again." "We're protecting each other," Marcus corrected. That night, as they prepared for bed, an emergency announcement echoed through the station's communication system. "Attention Nexus Prime residents. By order of the station authority, all beings harboring rejected diplomatic assets must surrender them for processing within 24 hours. Failure to comply will result in immediate deportation." Princess Zarathiel stared at each other in the dim light of the apartment. They want me gone, she said quietly. Too bad, Marcus replied, his jaw set with determination. Because I'm not giving up on you. Not now. Not when we're just starting to figure out what you're really capable of. Outside their window, security patrols began making their rounds, searching for one blind princess and the stubborn human who refused to abandon her. Part 3. The awakening gift. Marcus spent the night hunched over his computer terminal, searching through every database he could access. His eyes burned from staring at the screen, but he couldn't stop. There had to be answers somewhere about what was happening to Princess Zarathiel. Find anything useful? She asked from the couch, her voice tired but alert. Neither of them had slept much, maybe. Marcus rubbed his eyes. I've been reading about luminary biology. Did you know that your light patterns are created by specialized cells that respond to bioelectric fields? Every luminary child learns this in school, she said. What does it matter? My cells were damaged beyond repair. But what if they weren't destroyed? What if they were just sleeping? Marcus turned his chair to face her. Look at this. Human bioelectric fields are completely different from other species. We're more chaotic, more unpredictable. Most aliens find our energy patterns annoying. Princess Zarathiel sat up straighter. You think your bioelectric field is affecting my cells? It's the only explanation that makes sense. Every time we touch, you glow. The stronger the contact, the brighter the light. Marcus moved to sit beside her on the couch. Maybe your cells just needed the right kind of stimulation to wake up again. She was quiet for a long moment. If that's true, then what happened to me as a child? Tell me about the accident, Marcus said gently. Princess Zarathiel's hands twisted in her lap. I was 7 years old. There was an explosion in the palace energy core. The electromagnetic pulse that followed damaged many things, including my bioluminescent organs and my eyesight. Her voice grew smaller. The doctors said the cells were fried, that I would never glow again. But they were wrong. Marcus reached for her hand. The moment their skin touched, soft golden light spread from their joined fingers up her arm. They're not dead. They're just different now. The light was getting stronger each day, Marcus noticed. What had started as tiny sparks was becoming steady glows that lasted longer after they broke contact. A sharp knock at the door interrupted them. Both froze. Station security. Open immediately. Marcus looked at Princess Zarathiel, whose face had gone pale. The light in her arm flickered and died. Bathroom, he whispered. Lock the door. Don't come out no matter what you hear. She shook her head. I won't hide while you face trouble because of me, please. Marcus squeezed her hand. Trust me. Reluctantly, she moved toward the bathroom. Marcus waited until he heard the lock click before opening the front door. 3 security officers stood in the hallway, led by Commander Vex, a stern Andromedian with cold blue skin. Marcus Chen. We're here for the Luminari female. What Luminari? Female? Marcus asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Commander Vex pushed past him into the apartment. Don't play games, human. The station has surveillance. We know Princess Zarathiel is here. The other officers began searching the small space. Marcus's heart pounded as they moved toward the bathroom door. She's not here, Marcus lied. She left yesterday. Really? Commander Vex smiled coldly. Then you won't mind if we search thoroughly. One of the officers tried the bathroom door handle. Locked.
Break it down? No.
Marcus stepped forward. You need a warrant to search private spaces. Actually, we don't. Commander Vex held up a datapad. Emergency Station Authority overrides all privacy rights when dealing with abandoned diplomatic assets. The officer raised his weapon to blast the door open. In that moment of desperation, Marcus made a choice that changed everything. Wait, he called out. She's in there, but she's sick. Very sick. You don't want to go in there, Commander. Vex raised an eyebrow. Sick how? Marcus thought quickly. Her condition is getting worse. The stress of being abandoned has caused some kind of breakdown. She's been having episodes where she lights up uncontrollably. It's dangerous. Impossible, scoffed one of the officers. Luminari without bioluminescence can't have light episodes. As if summoned by his words, A sob came from behind the bathroom door. Princess Zerathiel's voice, broken and desperate. Please. Can't control it. It hurts. Suddenly, bright golden light began seeping under the bathroom door, so intense it hurt to look at directly. All 3 security officers stepped back in shock. What in the void is that? Commander Vex breathed. The light grew brighter, pulsing, like a heartbeat. Then it began changing colors, gold to silver, to deep blue, to brilliant white. The patterns were unlike anything Marcus had ever seen from a Luminari, wild and chaotic and beautiful. She's having an episode, Marcus said, his voice full of fake concern while his heart filled with wonder. This has been happening for days. The station medical team doesn't know what to do with her. The light suddenly cut off, leaving them, all blinking in the aftermath. Princess Zerathiel's voice came through the door, weak and shaking. Is it over? Did I hurt anyone? Commander Vex looked deeply uncomfortable. We'll need to contact the medical team immediately. This could be dangerous to station residents. I've been trying to help her, Marcus said, but she needs proper medical attention. Before Commander Vex could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red as an announcement echoed through the corridors. All security teams to Docking Bay 7. Priority Alpha threat detected, Commander. Vex pressed his communicator. This is Vex. What's the situation? Sir, we have a Chronari battlecruiser requesting permission to dock. They're claiming diplomatic immunity and demanding to see footage of the Luminari light anomaly. Marcus felt his blood turn to ice. The Chronari were slavers and collectors of rare beings. If they had somehow detected Princess Zerathiel's display...
Ow.
Did they know about that? Commander Vex demanded. Unknown, sir. But they're insisting they have rights to examine any unique specimens found on the station. Commander Vex looked at Marcus, then at the bathroom door where Princess Zerathiel was hiding. This complicates things. Commander, came another voice over the communicator. The Chronari are threatening to board by force if we don't comply. Their leader says he has a collection permit for damaged Luminari that display unusual properties. Marcus felt sick. They can't just take her. She's a person, not a specimen. Tell that to them, Commander Vex said grimly. He spoke into his communicator. All teams maintain security around the Luminari subject. No one approaches without my authorization. As the security team prepared to leave, Commander Vex turned back to Marcus. This isn't over, human. Display was recorded by station sensors. Word is spreading fast, and there are going to be more people interested in your friend than just the Chronari. After they left, Marcus quickly opened the bathroom door. Princess Zerathiel sat on the floor, tears streaming down her face. But her skin was still glowing with soft, steady light. I heard everything, she whispered. They want to take me away. Again, Marcus knelt beside her and took her hands. The light flared brighter at his touch. Then we don't let them. How you saw how bright I became. I can't control it anymore. Every emotion, every touch makes it stronger. She looked up at him with her clouded eyes. What's happening to me, Marcus? I think, Marcus said slowly. You're becoming something new. Something the galaxy has never seen before. Outside their porthole, the dark shape of a Chronari battle, cruiser moved into docking position, its weapons clearly visible. Time was running out. Part 4, The Power of Connection, the Chronari, came for them at dawn. Marcus woke to the sound of heavy boots marching through the station corridors. Through his porthole, he could see Chronari soldiers in black armor patrolling the gardens.
Ow.
There. Leader, Warlord Dex, had wasted no time taking control of the situation. They're searching every level, Princess Zerathiel said from beside the window. Her skin glowed with nervous energy, patterns of silver and blue dancing across her arms. We need to move, Marcus said, pulling on his clothes. I know some maintenance tunnels that might. The door exploded inward. 3 Chronari soldiers rushed in, followed by Warlord Dex himself. He was massive, even for his species, with cybernetic implants covering half his face and arms thick as tree trunks. So, Dex said, his voice like grinding metal, this is the broken princess who has learned to shine. his cold eyes fixed on Princess Zarathiel and the little human who fixed her. Marcus stepped in front of her. She's under the protection of station law. You can't just take her. Dex laughed, a harsh sound. Station law means nothing to me, human. I have collection permits for rare specimens. This luminary is now property of the Kronari Empire. I am Princess Zarathiel of the Luminari Royal House, she said, her voice steady, despite the fear Marcus could see in her posture. I am not property. You are whatever I say you are. Vex nodded to his soldiers. Take them both. The human seems to be part of the equation. The soldiers moved forward. Marcus grabbed Princess Zarathiel's hand instinctively, and her entire body erupted in brilliant golden light. The Kronari soldiers stopped, shielding their eyes. Fascinating, Vex breathed. The connection is immediate. It will both make excellent attractions in my arena. Arena? Vex felt his stomach drop. Oh yes. I collect rare beings to fight for the entertainment of my clients. A blind luminary princess and her human companion should provide some interesting matches. Dex's smile was cruel. Don't worry, I'll make sure you stay alive long enough to put on a good show. The soldiers shot them with stun weapons. A consciousness faded. Marcus heard Princess Zarathiel cry out his name, her light flickering like a dying star. Marcus woke up in a cage. The bars were made of some kind of energy field that buzzed when he touched it. Around him stretched a vast arena filled with roaring crowds of various alien species. In the center was a combat pit surrounded by towering walls. Marcus? Princess Zarathiel's voice came from the cage beside his. She was awake, her skin dim with despair. I'm here, he said, reaching through the energy bars toward her. Their fingertips almost touched, and a small spark of light jumped between them.
Ow.
Touching came Dex's voice over the arena speakers. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all classifications, today we have a special treat. A broken luminary princess and her pet human, who together create something the galaxy has never seen before. The crowd cheered. Marcus looked around and saw hundreds of aliens placing bets on viewing screens. Let's see how long they last against our newest champion. Next continued. A massive gate opened on the far side of the arena. What emerged made Marcus's blood freeze. It was a creature he'd never seen before, part machine, part organic beast, with metal claws and glowing red eyes. It stood 3 times taller than a human and moved with deadly grace. The Harvester, Dex announced. Designed to absorb energy attacks and grow stronger from them, perfect for testing our glowing princess. The energy bars of their cages shut off. Marcus and Princess Zarathiel were pushed into the arena by force fields. The crowd noise was deafening. Stay close to me, Marcus said, taking her hand. Immediately, light began flowing across her skin. The Harvester noticed the light and charged toward them with impossible speed. Duck. Marcus pulled Princess Zarathiel down as metal claws swept over their heads. They rolled apart as the creature's massive foot crashed where they had been standing. I can't see it, Princess Zarathiel called out, panic in her voice. I don't know where it is. 10 feet to your left, Marcus shouted. Moving fast, she turned and held up her hands. Light shot from her palms in a brilliant beam. It hit the Harvester squared in the chest, but instead of being hurt, the creature seemed to absorb the energy. Its red eyes grew brighter. It's getting stronger, Marcus realized with horror. The Harvester attacked again. This time Marcus wasn't fast enough. Metal claws raked across his shoulder, sending him spinning to the ground. He cried out in pain.
Marcus.
Princess Zarathiel's light flared brighter than ever before. She ran toward his voice, but without sight. She stumbled and fell. The crowd laughed at their struggles. Lying on the arena floor, bleeding and desperate, Marcus suddenly understood something. "Oh, Zara," he called out, using her first name for the first time. "Don't fight it alone. Need to connect properly." "What do you mean?" "Trust me completely. Stop trying to control the light. Just let me in." She hesitated for only a moment, then nodded. "I trust you." Marcus reached for her hand as the harvester charged toward them again. The moment their skin touched, something incredible happened. The light didn't just flow across Princess Zarathiel's skin, it surrounded both of them. Marcus gasped as he suddenly felt what she felt, saw through her enhanced senses. She could detect the harvester's movements through the vibrations in the ground, hear its breathing, sense its body heat at the same time. Princess Zarathiel gasped. As images flooded her mind, Marcus's vision, showing her the arena, the creature, the crowd. For the first time in years she could see, were connected. She breathed in wonder. The harvester leaped toward them, claws extended. Moving as one, Marcus and Princess Zarathiel dodged left, while she sent a controlled beam of light to their right. The creature, expecting them to move right, landed in empty space. They were no longer fighting as two separate people. They were something new. Again, Marcus said. They moved in perfect synchronization, providing sight and strategy while she wielded power with surgical precision. But the harvester was learning too. It began to anticipate their movements, its mechanical parts analyzing their patterns. It's adapting, Princess Zarathiel said through their link. Then we adapt too, Marcus replied. They held hands and stood perfectly still as the harvester approached. The crowd grew quiet, sensing something was about to happen. Now, Marcus whispered. Princess Zarathiel closed her eyes and did something she had never tried before. Instead of sending light outward, she pulled it inward, drawing energy not just from herself but from Marcus, from their connection, from the very air around them. The arena filled with a soft, pulsing glow that seemed to come from everywhere at once. The harvester stopped, confused. Its sensors couldn't lock onto them because the light was everywhere. What are you doing? Thex's voice boomed over the speakers, no longer amused. Princess Zarathiel smiled, still holding Marcus's hand. Something new. The light began to change. Frequency, shifting to a wavelength that made every piece of technology in the arena start to malfunction. The harvester's cybernetic parts began sparking and shutting down in the crowd. Aliens pointed at their failing viewing screens and betting devices. Impossible, Dex snarled. Stop them, but it was too late. The wave of energy Marcus and Princess Zarathiel were creating had spread beyond the arena. Throughout the ship, systems began failing. Emergency lights flashed as the ship's main power fluctuated. We need to go, Marcus said. Now, hand in hand, they ran toward the exit as chaos erupted around them. The crowd was panicking. The harvester was falling apart. And somewhere in the distance, they could hear Vex roaring orders that no one could follow because all the communication systems had failed. They had discovered something neither of them had expected. Together, they weren't just powerful, they were unstoppable. Part 5. The light that changed everything. Marcus and Princess Zarathiel ran through the Krenari ship's corridors as alarms blared around them. Emergency lighting cast eerie shadows on the walls, while crew members rushed past to busy dealing with system failures to notice two escaping prisoners. The ship's falling apart, Marcus said, still amazed by their shared connection. Through their joined hands, he could feel Princess Zarathiel's excitement mixing with his own. We're doing this, she replied, wonder in her voice. Together, we're actually disrupting their technology. They reached a junction where 3 hallways. Met Kronari soldiers were approaching from 2 directions, their weapons raised. Surrender now, the lead soldier shouted. Lord Dex wants you alive, but he didn't say undamaged. Marcus squeezed Princess Zarathiel's hand. Trust me, always, she said, without hesitation. Instead of running or fighting, they simply stood still and let their connection deepen. The light around them began to pulse in a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat made visible. The soldiers fired their energy weapons, but something impossible happened. The beams hit their light field and simply dissolved, absorbed into the glow that surrounded them. Impossible. One soldier gasped. Princess Zarathiel smiled. We're learning that word doesn't mean much anymore. The light expanded outward in a gentle wave. When it touched the soldiers' armor and weapons, all their technology shut down. The Kronari found themselves holding useless metal while their communications and life support systems sparked and died. What are you? The lead soldier whispered, backing away in fear. Something new, Marcus said. Something your master never counted on. They walked past the helpless soldiers toward the ship's docking bay. Other crew members they encountered simply stepped aside, too afraid to interfere with the strange beings who could turn their most advanced technology into scrap, metal with a touch. But Warlord Dex was waiting for them at the docking bay. Clever little pets, he snarled. The warlord stood between them and the exit, his massive form blocking their path. Yes. But you've only delayed the inevitable. I'll find other ways to contain you. No, Princess Zarathiel said, her voice filled. With new confidence, you won't. You think your little light show frightens me? I've conquered worlds, little princess. I've enslaved entire species. That's exactly why you'll never understand what we are, Marcus said. Dex lunged forward with surprising speed for his size. His cybernetic arm reached for Princess Zarathiel's throat. She didn't dodge. Instead, she stepped toward him, still holding Marcus's hand. When Nex's metal fingers touched her neck, something extraordinary happened. Instead of the violent, chaotic light they had used in the arena, Princess Zarathiel's skin began to glow with a soft, warm radiance that felt like sunlight. Dex's eyes widened as the light spread up his cybernetic arm. What are you doing to me? Healing you, princess? Zarathiel said gently. The light reached Dex's cybernetic implants and began to interact with them in ways that defied understanding. Instead of shutting them down, it was repairing damage, optimizing systems, removing the pain that had driven him to cruelty for so many years. I don't take that staggered backward, his face a mask of confusion. The pain is gone. How? Because that's what connection really means, Marcus explained. Not control, not domination, understanding. For the first time in decades, Warlord Dex felt something other than anger and hunger for power. The chronic pain from his battle injuries, the constant rage that had fueled his conquests, the emptiness that had driven him to collect beings like trophies, all of it was fading, replaced by something he had forgotten existed. Peace. I don't understand, he whispered, sinking to his knees. You don't have to, Princess Zarathiel said kindly. Just remember this feeling. Remember that there's another way to live. As they walked past the broken warlord toward their freedom, Marcus felt a presence in his mind that wasn't Princess Zarathiel. Fascinating, said a new voice. They turned to see several figures in the elegant robes of the Galactic Council materializing on the docking bay. The lead figure, a tall being with silver skin and ancient eyes, stepped forward. I am Counselor Vrain, he said. We detected the energy signature from your demonstration. We've been watching the events on this ship with great interest. You here to arrest us too? Marcus asked warily. Counselor Vrain smiled. Quite the opposite. We're here to offer you a choice. What kind of choice? Princess Zarathiel asked. You've discovered something that shouldn't be possible, the counselor explained. A connection between species that doesn't just bridge differences, it transcends them. You're not just human and Luminari anymore. You're something entirely new. Marcus felt Princess Zarathiel's hand tighten in his. What do you want from us? To learn, to understand, perhaps to help others like yourselves. Counselor Vrain gestured, and a holographic display appeared, showing various beings from across the galaxy. There are others out there. Beings, rejected by their own species, considered broken or useless. But what if they're not broken at all? If they're simply waiting for the right connection? Princess Zarathiel's eyes widened. You want us to help them? We want to offer you the resources to help them, if that's what you choose. A place where beings who don't fit into their societies can come to discover what they truly are. Marcus looked at Princess Zarathiel, seeing his own thoughts reflected in her face. A sanctuary. More than that, Counselor Vrain said. A new beginning. For all the species who have forgotten that strength comes not from perfection, but from connection. Princess Zarathiel squeezed Marcus's hand, and their light pulsed with shared excitement. We accept, 6 months later, Marcus stood on the observation deck of Haven Station, watching ships arrive from across the galaxy. Each one brought beings who had been rejected, abandoned, considered broken by their societies. Princess Zarathiel joined him at the window, her skin glowing. With steady, beautiful light that had become as natural as breathing, she could see now, not just through their connection, but with her own healed eyes. The light that had once been stolen from her had returned stronger than ever. "Another ship incoming," she said, pointing to a small vessel approaching the station. 3 passengers. "One of them feels... familiar," Marcus smiled. "Familiar how?" "It's like someone who's been waiting their whole life to find their missing piece." In the docking bay below, they watched as an elderly human woman helped a young crystalline being who moved awkwardly. His natural geometric patterns cracked and incomplete. Behind them walked a middle-aged Vorthon whose metallic skin had been scarred by some long-ago accident. All of them looked lost. All of them looked broken. All of them had come to the right place, ready to change some more lives, Marcus asked. Princess Zarathiel's light flared brighter, and this time, Marcus's skin began to glow too. Their connection had grown so strong that the light lived in both of them now. "Always," she said. "After all, we're pretty good at seeing potential where others see problems." Together, they walked toward the docking bay to welcome the next group of beings who would discover that broken didn't mean worthless. It meant ready to become something beautiful and new.